The sound of crickets was broken only by the low, steady beat of a drum coming from deep within the bush. Paulinus hesitated at the narrow footpath, his eyes darting to the shadows. "If? Where you dey carry me? Go, we don waka for hours now, and we never reach where you say you buy the land I ask you make you buy. I give you money make you buy land for roadside guy. Why you go this far inside forest go buy the land? You sure say this not the right way?" he asked, his voice betraying the unease he tried to mask. F.A. Money, dressed in a black hoodie despite the sweltering humidity, gave a reassuring smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Relax, Paulinus. No far again, my G. Relax, we donde reach the land like this. You go blow after you use this land do anything. The land day very fertile," he said, clapping his friend on the back. Paulinus adjusted the collar of his faded shirt, still uncertain. "I no like all this bush movement for night. Why the land inspection no fit happen for day?" F.A. chuckled and started walking again. "Guy, this na midnight work. Now only today I get chance to carry you go show the land, and na this night because I go day busy from tomorrow morning. You want see your land or not?" That was the hook. Paulinus had been a successful businessman selling motor parts and has other sources of income, both landed properties. When F.A., a man known to be Paulinus' best friend in the street, saw how Paulinus was succeeding in life rapidly, making it big, F became so jealous of his best friend Paulinus, who has been not just a friend, but also helping him and his family financially. He conspired with a native doctor to kill Paulinus, so he will take over his properties which was bought under his supervision, of which one of them is the land which he lied they are going to see, which Paulinus gave him money to buy for him. Paulinus had agreed to go see the land with him, but he didn't expect it to involve a hidden shrine deep in the forest. The drumbeats grew louder, torches flickered in the distance, and the smell of blood, raw and metallic, mingled with the herbal smoke. They emerged into a clearing. At the center stood a crumbling mud building, painted with symbols in red and white chalk. Animal skulls hung from the eaves, their empty eye sockets staring down at the intruders. A figure stepped out of the shadows, Baba Iweka himself. The old man's frame was wiry, his skin dark and wrinkled like aged leather. His eyes were sharp, almost glowing in the dim light, and around his neck hung a necklace of bones. "F.A. Money," Baba rasped, his voice like dry leaves in the wind. "You don bring the sacrifice." Paulinus froze. "Sacrifice? What'n you mean by that?" F.A. smiled thinly and didn't answer. Instead, he moved behind Paulinus, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Baba, this na my guy way I want make you do protection for him. Do him well, make him be strong man." Baba Iweka's gaze didn't leave Paulinus. He beckoned with one long bony finger. "Enter." Inside, the shrine was lit by candles that cast long, shifting shadows on the walls. In the center lay a low altar, covered in black cloth, and smeared with something that looked disturbingly like fresh blood. A clay pot bubbled in one corner, releasing thick, sweet-smelling steam. Paulinus took a step back. "I no understand. You sure say you normal? When me and you discuss all this rubbish na?" F.A.'s smile was gone now. His eyes were cold. "Brother, I know say you dey credit me normally, but no, be only you life go sure pass. It's been long I have been eyeing your properties, but for me to get them, something must go. Baba, start the work." Before Paulinus could react, two masked men stepped out from the shadows. They grabbed him, forcing him to his knees before the altar. "Wait, F.A. Wetting them they do like this," Paulinus screamed, struggling against their iron grip. F.A. crouched down to his level, his face inches away. "Guy, you two get money make I tell you my secrets. The kind money way you get big pass wet and I go ignore. You wan live? No vex, no fit happen." Baba Iweka began chanting in a language Paulinus didn't recognize. His voice was deep, rhythmic, almost hypnotic. The masked men pinned Paulinus down as Baba lifted a curved blade. "F, a beg. I help you that year. Remember when you day broke, The blade came down. His scream was swallowed by the drumming outside. The masked men worked quickly, dragging the lifeless body outside while Baba scattered white powder on the ground. They dug a shallow pit behind the shrine, the earth still soft from previous diggings. F.A. stood over the grave, breathing heavily. He watched as the dirt covered Paulinus, each shovelful erasing the last trace of his friend. When the final mound was patted down, It is done, he said simply. Fa handed him a thick brown envelope. Make sure nothing leak, Baba. If anybody ask, Baba cut him off with a wave of his hand. No living tongue go tell this story. But as Fa turned to leave, he didn't notice the shadow on top the trees, a figure who had been watching the entire ritual from start to finish. A palm wine tapper. The night was thick with silence, as Fa and his accomplices sped away from the shrine in Paulinus's Toyota Camry. The air smelled of burning incense from the ritual, still clinging to their clothes. The headlights cut through the misty rural road, each bump and bend adding to the pounding of Fa's heart. Make sure nobody sees us, Eve muttered, gripping the wheel so tight his knuckles whitened. His partner Osas sat beside him, looking nervously at the blood-stained mat in the back seat. F, are you sure this plan go work? Police stay sharp for this area now. Fa shot him a cold glance. Nah, you think say I be learner? Once we dump this motor for O2 Jeremy Road, go look like dem kidnap am. Nobody go trace anything back to us. They reached the lonely stretch of O2 Jeremy Road, overgrown bushes on both sides. No streetlights, no witnesses. Fa pulled over, killed the engine, and quickly wiped down the steering wheel, gear stick, and door handles with a rag. Osas stepped out, scanning the darkness, the only sound being the chirping of night crickets. Leave small confusion inside the car, Ife instructed, tossing a few scattered papers onto the passenger seat. We go make Am look like struggle happen. They pushed the car slightly off the main road, locked it, and walked away into the shadows until it was swallowed by the night. The next morning, Fa sat in his small parlor, phone in hand, rehearsing the lie that would set his plan in motion. He dialed Paulinus's elder brother Chaik, who lived in Wari. Hello, Chaik? F's voice trembled, artificial fear in every syllable. It's F. Something Don happened. Chaik's voice tightened instantly. F, what is it? You're scaring me. I know Juan panic you, but Paulinus no come back home last night. I just get call say dem kidnap am for road. What? Chaik's voice cracked. Who called you? Nah, unknown number. Effa lied effortlessly. The man say, make I no call police. Say, if we call them, dem go kill Paulinus. They want ransom. Chaik was breathing heavily now. How much? Fa paused for effect, glancing at the ceiling as though he was calculating. They say N25 million, but I beg them well, and they reduce AM to N20 215 0. They say I must bring AM cash, no transfer. They say they trust only me to handle AM. Chaik was silent for a moment, the sound of his pacing audible through the phone. F, this is a lot of money. We don't even have time. What if they hurt him? That's why we must act fast, Eve urged, injecting just enough urgency to cloud Chaik's judgment. The man talk, say we get only 2 days. I no fit play with Paulinus' life. By afternoon, Chaik had mobilized friends and relatives. Money flowed in from every corner, loans, emergency withdrawals, and even the sale of some family jewelry. 2 days later, Eve met Chaik in a quiet, deserted compound behind an abandoned warehouse. Cheek arrived in an old Hilux, his face pale, eyes swollen from sleepless nights. Fa greeted him with a practiced, worried expression. Any news? Chaik asked immediately. They called me last night, Fa replied. Say I should bring the money to Ugheli Junction tonight. If dem see any police, dem go waste am. Chaik brought out a black duffel bag stuffed with bundles of cash, his hands shaking. Please, Eve, just bring my brother back. I can't face Mama without him. Fa placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. I promise I'll bring him back alive. But as he turned away, his lips curled into a sly smile. That night, Eve met Osas again. They sat inside an unlit car, counting the money with the dome light flickering overhead. Osas's eyes widened at the stacks before them. F, this one past jackpot. We go disappear for at least 1 year. Shut up and help me bundle it, F said sharply. We know they safe until people believe Paulinus is gone for good. Osas chuckled darkly. Nah, so life be. The man trust you like brother. Fa's tone was cold. Trust no day put food for table. 3 days later, Eve called Chaik again. His voice was heavy with fake sorrow. Chaik, I know how to talk this thing. They just call me. They say Paulinus try to escape. Dem shoot am. They say they know even fit. Give me the body. The phone went silent. Then came the sound of Cheek dropping to his knees, wailing. No. Paulinus, my brother. Efe's eyes remained dry, his voice soft. I'm sorry. I tried my best. When police started investigation, they went to a nearby villages where they met the palm wine tapper who saw everything that happened. The man gave the police team a vivid information that helped a lot in the investigation. As Efe sat in his newly acquired mansion with a glass of wine that afternoon, a message dropped. It was a short message from Anonymous. Police don't ask questions for Shrineside. Be careful. He cursed under his breath. For days now, whispers had been reaching him that Paulinus's family wasn't satisfied with his stories. The ransom had not brought their loved one home, and the supposed negotiations with the kidnappers had gone eerily silent. In truth, there had never been any kidnappers, only him, Osas, and the native doctor, all bound by greed, knew the truth. Earlier that morning, at the O2 Jeremy Police Division, Inspector Omaruyi sat behind his desk, his eyes scanning a report from Paulinus's younger brother. Sir, the brother had said during his statement, F was the one talking to the kidnappers. But after we paid 20 million, he told us they cut off communication. Now, we are beginning to suspect something is wrong. Efe's explanations no make sense again. Omaruyi tapped his pen on the desk, replaying the case details in his mind. The ransom amount was unusually high for the area. The supposed kidnappers never made direct contact, and the last known sighting of Paulinus was with Ife. Something stank, and Omaruyi had been a police officer long enough to trust his instincts. Later that day, the first crack in the wall appeared. One of the shrine assistants, barely 20 years old, was picked up by the police after they found him drunk and bragging in a roadside bar about helping Efe handle a big job. Nah, Efe, deceive the guy. Man come forest way we for KPI. Come cut of his head. Fear turned his boasting into tears within the first 10 minutes of interrogation. By nightfall, he had told them everything. The night Paulinus was brought to the shrine, the rituals, the killing, and the shallow grave under the sacred tree. The following morning, the police came for Efe. It was swift. 3 Hilux vans pulled up to his house, the screech of brakes cutting through the morning quiet. Neighbors peeked from behind curtains as uniformed men jumped down, rifles in hand. Afe money, you are under arrest. Omaruyi's voice was sharp and final. Efe's eyes darted toward the back door, but there was no escape. Within seconds, 2 officers pinned him to the ground, clamped cold metal around his wrists, and dragged him out. The street was now filled with murmurs, old women shaking their heads, young men pulling out phones to record. At the station, Efe tried to keep his composure. Inspector, you dey make mistake-o. I know no wetin you dey talk. Omaruyi leaned forward, his gaze unflinching. We dug up a body at the shrine, Efe. Paulinus's body. The boy you thought wouldn't talk, talked. And we also recovered parts of the ransom money in the native doctor's shrine. The game is over. Afe swallowed hard, his mouth dry. Inspector, make we settle this like men. Men? Omaruyi cut him off, his voice cold. A real man doesn't kill his friend for money. The trial began 2 months later at the High Court in Wari. It was the biggest case the town had seen in years. The courtroom was packed journalists, townsfolk, and Paulinus's grieving family. The prosecution laid out the story piece by piece. How F lured Paulinus to the shrine, the ritual killing, the staged car abandonment, and the ransom scam. Osas and the shrine assistant testified against him, their words slicing through his last hopes of denial. Even Chief Obele, trying to save himself, painted Efe as the mastermind. When the verdict was read, the room was so silent you could hear the ceiling fan's slow, tired creak. Guilty, on all counts. Efe's knees almost buckled. The judge's voice was stern as he pronounced the sentence, death by hanging. As they led him away, Efe glanced toward Paulinus's family. His eyes met those of Paulinus's younger brother, eyes filled with both pain and the satisfaction of justice. Outside, the crowd erupted into murmurs, some relieved, others still in shock at how far greed had driven a man they once called friend. Efe's last thought as he was shoved into the prison van was not about the money, nor about the shrine. It was about the night it all began, and how one greedy choice had led him straight into the jaws of death. And in the quiet that followed, the shrine stood abandoned, its sacred tree now a silent witness to the crime that destroyed them all.